Hi, very good evening. This is Neeraj Singh Rathore, your sales coach, entrepreneur, and author. Today, I'm so happy that on my channel I have somebody very special who I have known for a couple of months, and what he has done for me is very significant, I should say, because I was really struggling in terms of my weight loss, my fitness, my nutrition, and it is always that the universe, when you want, the universe connects you to the right kind of people. And it was so I was so blessed that it was the same name. So let me take this opportunity to welcome Neeraj. Thank you so much for joining. I know
Thank you, Neeraj.
you've been like very busy working with a lot of people, but it was really a pleasure that you took the time to kind of talk to my channel, took the time to tell people about why fitness, what is there in terms of nutrition. So yeah, before I hand over to Neeraj, just I like to kind of introduce him, and I'm sure he is going to tell you more. So Neeraj is 44 years old only, and that was surprise for me also when I asked him how old is he. So yeah, he doesn't look 44, and he's into fitness for the last 25 years. He's joined as a fitter coach, so he's an advanced fitter coach. So there are different levels in fitter. He's the one which is advanced. So when I went into fitter, I was trying to choose. I i wanted an advanced coach because the basic coach I've already done. I wanted somebody advanced who could work with me in terms of my age, who's like 40 plus, and that's the reason why I kind of chose him. And he's won a lot of competitions and winners of many national and international fitness competition. I'll drop a link at the end so that you can have his contact details, and if you want to ask any question regards to fitness, to nutrition, to anything to do with with body weight loss, he's the right guy to kind of approach. And he's transformed more than 1,500 plus people. That's enormous, with this couple of years, if that's what he's done. And it's basically that he's looking into results. That's what I feel, because let me tell you, for the last 2 months, I have reduced 6 kgs. That's very significant. And as you can see, the fitness level have gone up. So yeah, that's what it is. Welcome, Neeraj. And please tell us more. So I'm just going to kind of, yes, there you are. I can see you brought in there. So the first question to you, Neeraj, is, what is this quantified nutrition and how can it help people be fit in life? Because people have been hearing this term quantified nutrition. What is it all about and how does it help us?
Okay. So first of all, thank you, Neeraj, for introducing me, and thank you for being me on your channel. It's my pleasure. And definitely, we are going to bust out some of the myths regarding fitness industry and fitness. So I'll introduce myself. I am a fitter coach. Fitter is basically a company based. The head office is in Pune, basically, and it's a startup which started 4 years back to make the lives of 50 million people fit. The agenda is to make the 50 million people fit, and it started our founder Jiten Chokse. He is from Pune. He started the company, and right now we are having more than 200 plus coaches in our portal. We also have a Fitter app where you can search all those coaches, and you can search me also. And basically what we do is we basically once the client enroll us, we give them a diet and the workout depending upon their health goals and their fitness level. Okay, so you were talking about quantified nutrition.
Yes,
So
what is this?
basically, quantified nutrition. First of all, you have to understand some basics behind, what quantified nutrition is and how does it works. So quantified nutrition basically is something which you quantify your things like before eating, what you have to eat. Like it depends upon your goals. What's actually your goal is? What's your health goal is? So there are different goals. Like a client comes for us for a fat loss, someone comes for us for a muscle gain, and some comes out for us for a general fitness, and they just want to stay fit and lean. That's it. So it totally depends upon your health goals. So now how you are going to achieve that? Generally, people, whenever they want to lose weight, what they do? They generally go in any kind of absurd diet. They can follow any liquid diet or any fat diet which are there. I don't want to name any kind of diet, but basically they just go in any kind of absurd diet. They start eating less. What they do is they start exercising more. They don't go to the nutrition part. They just go, start running or doing a lot of cardio, or like something they pray that they can get fit or they can get lean by doing all these things. but our body doesn't work like that. Okay, so take it as a as a car driver. Like before driving a car, you have to learn your car, right? You can't drive directly. You have to learn how to drive a car. Same is the case of a body. You have to understand your body before doing anything, like before following any kind of diet or doing a diet regarding your fat loss or a muscle gain or whatever you want to do. You have to understand your body like a car. So you have to be a good driver basically of your car. So how you do that? You do that with a quantified nutrition. So say suppose you have to lose your body weight. So what you are going to do? It's a simple energy balance. You have to create a deficit from your calories to lose those weight or lose that fat basically. So what is energy balance? Energy balance is basically the calories in versus the calories out. So the calories which you are consuming from food and the calories which you are burning, which is either your activity level or your basic body functioning. So that's the calorie out basically. So if you match those two calories, you are basically in an energy balance like that. That's mean like you are going to maintain the weight. Now, if you want to lose the weight, it's a simple math. If you want to reduce your weight or fat, basically we talk about body fat, not weight. Because when we talk about weight, you're also talking about your muscle weight, you are talking about your fat weight, you're also talking about your body water, your organs weight. We don't want to lose all those things. We just want to focus that extra fat which you are carrying. Okay. So for that extra fat, what you have to do is you have to create a deficit from that energy balance, and you have to be on a negative energy balance basically. Okay. You have to eat less basically what you are eating right now, or you can increase your activity level by just creating the deficit. There are two ways of doing that. Either you eat less, you reduce your calories, or you can increase your activity level because you are going to burn those calories. For example, if say suppose your maintenance calorie is 2000 calories, meaning that if you eat 2000 calories, you are going to maintain your weight. Now, if I tell you you want to reduce the weight or reduce the fat, what you are going to do? Either you will increase your activity level, what you are doing right now. What you can do is just increase your activity level by doing the exercise. You will burn certain calories. Automatically, you have created a deficit from that 2000 calories. And say suppose you are burning 300 calories per day. You have come down to 1700 calories.
Got it.
Meaning you have created a deficit of 300 calories. So that's the one way. But everyone can't increase their activity level in their busy life and daily routine. They can't do whatever they are doing right now. Or maybe they are doing the exercise, but they are not getting the results. It is only because they are in a positive energy balance. They are eating more than what they are burning. So what they can do is they can create a diet deficit. They can create a deficit from their diet. If they are eating 2000 calories, what they can do is they can cut down certain calories, say suppose 200, 300 or 500 calories to lose that extra body fat. So you have to cut down those calories to create that deficit. So now you have come to 1500 calories or 17. You start losing your body fat when you do that, body weight or body fat. But the thing is how you are going to
amazing improvement. And there were one or two cases where chai was.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. So I had to mute others. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So I was telling that you have to create the deficit if your goal is to lose the body fat. So you have to create it by either increasing your activity level or reducing the food. Now comes the quantified nutrition. How you are going to know that what is your maintenance calories actually? How much food you are eating? So here comes the role of quantified nutrition. Like you have to quantify everything. You have to quantify what you are eating. And you have to quantify taking those foods, what food items you are eating. There are basically three main macronutrients in your diet. So say suppose if you are eating something, either it must be having a protein, it must be having a carbohydrate, or it must be having a fat. These food also having a fiber and some amount of water. So these are called the macronutrients of the food. So whenever you eat food, you get all these micronutrients in your diet. So suppose an example of pizza. If someone is suppose an example of pizza. If you take, if someone is eating pizza, you can see the base of that pizza, right? The base is basically nothing. It's a bread. The bread is basically carbohydrate. Now we also put some vegetables on those pizza, right? Those vegetables are basically the fiber in that pizza. Now you also put some cheese on that bread, right? So the cheese is nothing, but it's it is of fat. Basically, what you see in that cheese, it's either a fat, it's also having some amount of protein. Now, if it's a non-veg pizza, you also put a chicken in that. Now that chicken has become your protein. So these are the 4 main macronutrients you see in either any food. I've just given an example of pizza.
Yeah, I
So
get it.
these are the macronutrients, right? Each macronutrient is having certain calories. So say if you are eating a protein is having 4 calories per grams. Fats is having 9 calories per grams. Carbohydrate is having 4 calories per gram. So each macronutrient is having certain calories. Now what you have to do is you have to take out your total daily calorie intake, how much calories you are eating,
multiply with this,
and just multiply with these macronutrients, and you can get your maintenance calorie. So this is the way where quantified nutrition comes, because without that you're not going to understand your body. Like a good driver, you can't understand your body, how you're going to achieve your goals. So that's where quantified nutrition comes.
Lovely, lovely. So basically, you know, look into what you're eating and what is it all about, whether it's protein, fat, carbs.
Yes.
Like for me, example, for me, you have actually reduced the carbs slightly. You know, I'm taking carbs, but at a slighter, because earlier I used to take a lot of carbs, right? So because of that, I think it's like I'm feeling much fitter. The energies have gone up, but you're balanced with proteins. You're balanced with you know, the other stuff, like, you know, you're asking me to have I think paneer.
So there are certain rules basically. It's not
vegetables,
about just carbs. It's not just about carbs which we have reduced and you are, you know, getting the result. It's not just about carbs. Carbs is not a culprit. No macronutrient makes you good, and no food is good and bad, and no food makes you, you know, healthy and unhealthy. No food is having which can directly make you fat. Like if you eat carbs, it will make you fat. It's nothing like that. It's only if you overdo the calories. If you are eating above your maintenance calories, you are going to put on weight, whether you are eating carbohydrate, whether you are eating fat, or whether you are eating protein. It is not about just carbs and fats. Any macronutrient can make you fat if you overdo in calories of your maintenance calorie.
Got it. So suppose an individual comes and says, hey, what do I do? So they have to come to a coach like you, and the coach would want to calculate everything and give it to him. Is that the only process, or they can do something else?
So as a client comes to us, basically first we have to take their details regarding their past history, what's their workout experience, what's their dietary, what they are consuming right now, their food habits, their lifestyle, their routine, everything. If they have any kind of medical issues or health issues, because there are a lot of lifestyle disorders also. Okay. So the client comes to us, and if they are having a lot of lifestyle disorders, we have to plan that accordingly. Like we have to plan everything regarding that. Like they are having thyroid, they are having cholesterol, diabetes. All these are basically lifestyle disorders. So we have to take all these things in consideration, and we used to take out their basically maintenance calories. And you also get certain calculators online where you can calculate your maintenance calorie. Okay, so you can calculate, but all those numbers are basically estimations or a theoretical number. Those are average basically, but they are good to start. You can start from there and see your results within 10 to 14 days.
Any website can you refer saying, hey,
you can go and check our app, Fitter app. You can get everything. You also get a free diet sample there. If you want to start, you also get a free diet sample.
Lovely.
Or if you want to hire a coach there, you can hire a coach also. It's up to you. You can calculate your maintenance calorie, and you can start your journey from there.
Got it. Okay, so nowadays with this COVID coming in picture, right? Everybody is talking about immunity. You know, increase your immunity, and then that would really help you reduce your chances of getting this disease called COVID. So, how would, like, you know, when we talked, you talked about, hey, you know, physical exercise really help you increase your immunity. What is the relationship between this immunity and physical exercise? You know, how because I understand like eating good food would help. How would physical exercise increase your immunity? If you can tell us more about it.
So, Neeraj, we have to understand first, this is not, immunity is not just a thing which you can boost in just 1 or 2 days or a few weeks. It's basically you have to change your overall lifestyle to get the benefit of immunity, you know. Definitely, exercise is one of the variables in where you can improve your immunity. By doing a proper exercise, by having a quality sleep, by having a proper nutrition. There should be enough protein in your diet. You should be having all the multivitamins and multiminerals in your diet. There are certain things which you have to keep into consideration, and you have to change your lifestyle. It is not something which will come overnight. Immunity is not something which comes overnight. Now, these days I can see there are a lot of products which are coming, and they're just, you know, tagging themselves as immunity boosters. You don't boost your immunity in few days or few weeks or taking any supplement. You have to understand that. This is basically a lifestyle change which you have to do. Okay. So as a diet also, like whatever diet you follow, it should be a lifestyle change. Generally, the misconception in the mind of the people is that diet is something which makes you suffer, where you have to eat very less food. Nothing like that. Diet doesn't mean that. In Greek, basically diet, it comes from a Greek word dieta. Dieta meaning is lifestyle change. You have to change your lifestyle, Neeraj. You have to understand that. You have to change your lifestyle to get those benefits of the immunity. Definitely, workout is one of the variables. Once you start doing workout, you burn certain calories. There are a lot of benefits of the workouts. And that too, if you are doing something resistance training, like generally, if you see, whenever someone wants to lose the weight, the first thing comes in the mind is start running or start doing cardio. The first thing comes in the mind of the people. Okay, so that should not be the case. Definitely, you are going to lose certain amount of weight with the cardio. Cardio is not bad; it's very good for your cardiovascular, health. But you should also be focusing on resistance training or what we call the weight training. Okay, so as you can know, we have started weight training also.
Yes.
You get a lot of benefits by doing the weight training. In fact, some researchers have shown that by doing the resistance training, you also improve your immunity because you get your insulin sensitivity gets improved. Okay, insulin resistance get reduced. Your nutritional partitioning becomes good. Even person who's suffering from diabetes and all, once they start doing the resistance training, it has been shown that within a month or two, their parameters start getting normal. Like they start reducing the parameters. If they are having a diabetes or a pre-diabetic condition, they should start doing weight training.
Good.
So weight training has shown a lot of health benefits.
Wow, this is new. So weight training.
Yes.
So even if you have diabetes, even if you have these kind of major diseases, you should be able to do weight training. Like
Definitely, you can. Diabetes is something, as I've told you, it's a lifestyle disorder. Like your body doesn't take glucose properly. What is diabetes? Diabetes is when your blood sugar goes high. Okay. And your body, when your blood sugar goes high, there's a hormone called insulin, which secretes from pancreas, which is an organ which is behind your stomach. It secretes pancreas from the beta cells to say, hey, blood sugar, you have to be normal. You have to be below 140. So it secretes that insulin comes up, then your blood sugar goes down. Okay. But someone who is diabetic, and if he's a diabetes, if he had something sweet or carbohydrate, when we start eating, basically sweets means carbohydrate. Carbohydrate releases glucose. So he start releasing that blood sugar. He start eating carbohydrate, the blood sugar goes high. But the insulin doesn't work properly in the person of diabetes. The pancreas doesn't release. If they release, the cell receptor to go that glucose to the blood cells. So that is basically a condition of this diabetes.
Got it.
So this can be improved if a person is doing the resistance training. What it does is it improves the insulin sensitivity. Like the cells can take that insulin easily. So it improves that insulin sensitivity basically. So that's also one of the good benefits of weight training. Resistance training. You also improve your overall health with the weight training. You improve your bone density. You improve your joint health. Whatever movements you are doing, like if I'm moving this hand, it is only because I have muscles in my body. So you build muscle with that. It is a misconception basically, like weight training is a game of a bodybuilder. It's nothing like that. If a client comes to me, even if he is 65 or 70, I give them a weight training plan depending upon like how he has to do under a guidance, not something like it's a well planned plan for them. So that at least the overweight person or an obese person, or if someone is an elderly person, they can also do weight training. And definitely they should be doing, because there is a case called, there is something called a sarcopenia, in which you start losing your muscle mass at a certain period of your lifespan. Like after 30 to 40 years, every decade you reduce 15 to 20% of your muscle mass. So you should be doing weight training to sustain that muscle what you are having. Because what made you can sustain you. So you make your muscles by doing weight training. You can sustain that muscle by doing weight training. But you should also be consuming enough protein in your diet. That's also one of the things that you should be consuming. What generally our Indian diets are, they are not having that much protein in our body. We don't eat that much protein basically. Okay, each cells of our body is made up of protein. So we should be consuming enough protein also. So we have to see all those things.
That was the question also. Remember when you gave me a lot of protein, I could see the protein. So I was slightly scared. Hey, taking a lot of protein would impact my kidneys.
Yes.
That's a question that I had.
Yes.
So he said, hey, if you are not doing any activity, if you're not doing anything and you're eating a lot of protein, that could be a problem. But if you're doing your activities along with, taking a higher protein. I think that's fair. You should take protein. You want to talk about that?
So that's another misconception. Another misconception. Basically, even if you are not doing anything, if you are having a sedentary lifestyle, the RDA recommendation is you should be consuming anywhere between 0.8 to 1 grams of protein of your body weight, basically. So say suppose if a guy who is 100 kgs and if he has to consume anywhere between 80 to 100 grams of protein. Okay, so that much protein we generally don't take in our daily routine. That's why when we add a certain amount of protein to someone, they say it's a very high protein. And as per the research has been done up till 3.4 grams of protein per kg body weight. So suppose if a guy is 100 kgs, they have given 340 grams of protein to the person, to a group of persons, and there's no negative benefits of that. Even if you go higher than that, there's no negative health benefits of taking higher protein. It is only because you are already having some kind of renal issue, if your liver is compromised, if your kidney is already compromised, then we give a slight lower end, not just completely stop. Because the work of protein is to repair, right? The main work of the protein is to repair and build and repair. It builds your muscle and it also repairs the wear and tear of your body. So how you are going to repair your kidney or liver if they are already compromised? It's only because with the protein. So you don't have to cut down a complete protein. You still have to take certain amount of protein, but on a lower dosage. But if someone is doing a weight training, if their goal is to build muscles, so definitely your muscles are built only with protein. So you have to increase a slight amount of protein. So anywhere between like 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein of your body weight. You have to consume that much amount of protein. But if you are sedentary, definitely anywhere between 1.2 grams of your body weight. Okay, and I'm talking about a lean body weight now here. I'm talking about a lean body weight. Lean body weight meaning reducing your fat. If someone is 100 kgs and if he's having a 20% of body fat, they have to take at least 80 grams of protein in a routine. And second thing is, if someone is elderly, they need a slight higher side of protein. If normal person needs 1 gram, elderly person should be taking anywhere between 1.1 to 1.2 grams of protein for elderly people, because they are already in that state where there are chances that they are going to lose the muscles. And protein is the only thing, protein and resistance training is the only thing which can sustain that muscle mass.
Got it.
So it's a misconception. Basically, you should not be taking the protein.
I know. So that was typical, So another thing is, see, we as coaches, trainers, or we are in business, right? We have to be mentally very agile, because we are talking to customers on a daily basis. We are doing presentations on a daily basis. So mental health is a very important part of our entire work that we do, right? Mentally, we need to be very strong. We need to be stable. So what I've been reading somewhere, like, even Anthony Robbins, who's my guru, who's the coach, he says, the physiology leads to psychology.
Exactly.
If you're physically fit, that would really drive you mentally fit. What do you have to say about that? Have you had chances of people who were like, who were in depression, who were like not so good mentally, and you gave them some exercises and they kind of transform into being mentally much strong, and they were able to go ahead rather than taking those antidepressants? Because nowadays, everybody a lot of people I'm talking, I said, hey, I'm depressed, right? And I've seen, like, people are saying, change your state, change the state that you are in. If you're sleeping all day, nothing's going to happen. You have to get out. You need to start walking. You need to start running. That actually changes the mental strength. What's your say about that? How do you?
So, very good question. Actually, you can relate this, physical fitness to mental fitness. So, as I'm talking about this resistance training, right? Like weight training or any exercise when you do, you see that feel good factor whenever you do any achievement or any task or any kind of workout. Even if you go for a run for 20 minutes and when you come back, you feel that feeling of, goodness feeling or something has come up. It is only because you release a happy hormone in your body. That's a dopamine. When you do any kind of workout, or especially in weight training, when you do weight training, you release that hormone, dopamine hormone, serotonin hormones in your body, which releases up, which gives you that happy valley feeling. So that's the scientific cause behind doing exercise and getting fit to yourself and getting that mental state of mind. Definitely, physical fitness leads to mental fitness. When you are fit, you are having that confidence in your body. If you are totally fit, if you are looking good, you get that confidence. So definitely that impact to your brain also. Okay, you think that when you get a confidence, definitely you can relate that thing.
Yeah.
It's basically a confidence built up in you.
Got it. Got it. Tell me something else. This is something which I before I met you, I used to have this problem. Like, what should be my ideal weight? Okay, so I always say, hey, I'm 40 plus. I'm 5'11". What should be ideal weight? So how do we calculate? What is the best site? Is Fitter having some kind of calculation mechanism? So I know, hey, I'm this. After I met you, then I said, hey, I have to be lean. I have to be having more muscle. So you said, hey, come to 70 kgs. That is a good place to see. And I'm working towards it. Soon I'm going to, like, within a month or two, I'm going to reach that. How do you come up with this value of 70, or how do you come up with this value for anybody?
Okay, so Neeraj, first of all, we have to come up with this misconception that there is no such thing as ideal height and ideal weight. Okay. So if you take an example, if your height, your weight, and your age, and take it to me, we are almost of same age, same heights, and same weight. You are also around 75. I'm also 75. Now, what's the difference? Who's the healthier person between both of us?
Oh, obviously you.
Obviously, right?
Obviously,
the reason behind that is, like, you are having more of fat mass in your body, and I am having more of muscle mass in my body.
Okay.
So right now, like throughout the year also, and right now also, my body fat percentage is not more than 8 or 9%. Okay, 8 or 9% fat, meaning where you can see your abs visibly. All the six-pack abs are visible throughout the year. That's the range basically. 8 to 9% of the body fat. Okay, and you are around, say, suppose 20% of body fat. So if you compare both of us, I am the healthier one. So there is no such thing as a height and weight relationship. If someone is 100 kgs and someone is a bodybuilder, and someone is 100 kgs who's having like 40% of body fat, definitely a bodybuilder is more healthier than them. So it's always about how much body fat percentage you are carrying in your body. And the ideal range for a normal person who doesn't want a six-pack abs and who's not an athlete can target anywhere between like 15 to 20% of the body fat for the flat belly. Basically, if you want a flat belly, your body fat percentage should be anywhere between 15% to 20%. For male, I'm talking about. And when you talk about female, it can be anywhere between 22 to 28 or 25 or 28% for female. So this is, I'm talking about the fat percentage. Okay, you should be targeting that fat percentage. You get certain pictures on if you Google that, like body fat percentage pictures, you get the pictures about tentative idea or how much body fat percentage you are carrying right now. You can compare yourself with those pictures. Maybe, and you can see where you stand right now.
Lovely. Maybe after this call, we could the data that you just shared, we could put it in the link below. Like, whatever you told me in terms of the protein part of it, the body part of it. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We can share that with the viewers, saying that this is what it is. So maybe you forget, but we can share that in a document.
Also, some people talk about like a BMI, like they
BMI, correct.
Body mass index. So body mass index is nothing but it's basically your height and waist circumference. Okay, they take out that, and it's the normal range is anywhere between 18 to 24. If you come in that range, 18 to 24, you are supposed to be healthy. But if someone who's having a BMI of 27 or above, he or she is supposed to be obese. But this also doesn't apply, because if someone is a someone is a bodybuilder or someone is a power lifter, they are having a more big waist if you compare. So that doesn't mean that they becomes unhealthy. That's their sport. If you talk about the boxers, they are also having a lot of big waist. So that doesn't mean they are again they are unhealthy. They are healthy, but they are on their their goals. What their goals are, they are training on those goals. So it's sports specific basically, right? So it doesn't mean. So the best thing is to just check your body fat percentage. Just try to be lean throughout the year, and for that you have to again follow that quantified nutrition.
Got it. So the other problem was, remember when we started, the gyms were closed. I couldn't, because I was going to the gym. The gyms were closed. I didn't have dumbbells at home. I didn't have any weights at home.
Correct.
Now we are not sure when the gym is going to open, because I have my friends in the gym industry, and they're like, I don't know what's going to happen, right? So Neeraj, what's your advice for people? What they should do if they don't have dumbbells, if they don't have mats, if they don't have stretching equipment? What can you do to work at home? Like, you gave me a lot of alternatives. Use your bed, like use a chairs, use some way to do something or the put some weights, बाहर जाके ईटा लेके आओ, उसको weight डाल. You had some. So what would you suggest? Because people are staying at home, they can't go to the gym. How do I make up for the exercise that I used to do earlier?
So Neeraj, again, here comes your goals. Like, what's your health goal is? If someone's obese person and his goal is to lose the body fat, and if he asked me or she asked me that whether I can achieve that in this pandemic, in this lockdown, definitely I say I am transforming a lot of people who are in this pandemic situation and they are locked down in their houses and they are doing that. So definitely it totally depends upon your goal. If your goal is fat loss, if your goal is just to maintain your health, or your goal is to build a muscle, right? You can do all the workouts at home, either by body weight workouts. You can use equipments. If you can arrange certain dumbbells and a bench, you can arrange. You can do all the workouts. To do that, you can at least arrange a resistance. You get a resistance band in the market, resistance tube and resistance band. You can do a hell lot of workouts with all those resistance band. You can do all the exercises at home. Even if you don't have all these things, you can do the workouts even by taking, making the home things like a water bottle or a jug, or if you are a bodybuilder, if you are training for muscle building, they are training with the cylinders, empty cylinders also.
Wow, that's
a lot of things. Like you can
innovative idea.
You can be a more creative now, and you can use like I'm having this water bottle. I can fill this bottle. This is almost 2 liters, so I can use this as for doing a bicep curl. Okay. So you can. It totally depends upon your goals, Neeraj. So what's your health goal is? Because
at gym we have trainers who do help us, saying don't do this exercise this way. It's going to hurt your knee. It's going to hurt your hand. But if I'm just looking, because a lot of times before I met you, I used to get so many videos about yaar jaake ye fitness exercise, ye exercise kar lo. And these celebrities now, they have come up and say, hey, I'm at home, I'm doing these exercises. These celebrities are giving it and people are following. What would be your advice for people like this who are just doing it? Because for me, like you gave me a set of exercises saying, hey, only this you have to do. It was basically, a different set every day. Every day I had a different set, which was good because I'm not getting bored. Every day there was a different one. Like, and some days it was a very different one. So I was very happy that every day I'm doing a different one. I was not getting bored, I'm doing. And you should say also, hey, you do this, do that. What about people who are not having a coach? What would be your suggestion? What should we do? What should they do?
Now their, training age comes up, like how long they have been training, what experience they are into training. If someone is a beginner, they have just started the workout. So they have to start with the very basic workouts. Like they can start with the movement. They have to learn those, positions and those angles first. It's not about the weight which they have to lift. They have to learn that skill basically. So if any sport, if you want to start playing, tennis, what you have to do is you have to first learn that particular movement every day. How to do a smash or how to, serve. You have to learn those skills basically. Same is the case with, doing the exercises. If you are a beginner, if you are doing just for your overall health and all, you have to first learn the movements, what you have to do. So like if you are starting with the body weight workouts, you have to learn how to do squat or a body weight squat. Okay. You have to learn how to do push-ups. So these are exercises. You have to learn how to do lunges. So these are I'm talking about some of the basic exercises which you can do even at home if you are not having any equipments. Okay. And if you are someone who is a bit advanced, if you are already done all these kind of exercises, now what you have to do is your muscle needs more resistance basically, because you get adapted to the particular workouts. Okay. You have to keep on progressively overloading yourself. You have to keep on progressing. Then only your muscle is going to respond, because after a certain point of time, your muscle doesn't take that much resistance. You can easily do 50 push-ups. Now what you have to do? Now you have to put some resistance. So what you can do is you can put a backpack behind, put some weight in that, and you can do push-up now. You have made a bit difficult. You have to basically made that exercise a bit difficult. Before you can do 50 repetitions, now you're not going to do 50 with that heavy weight behind you, backpack with that. You can anyway target 25 or 30 if you can do that. So you've made that a bit difficult. So it totally depends where you stand right now. What's your workout experience is. If you are someone who is intermediate, if you're someone who's advanced. So there are totally different set of workouts, totally different. There are certain basically variables in workouts. So workout science is very vast. There are certain variables which you have to see. The first thing is the volume, like how much volume you have to take. Volume meaning like how much repetitions, how much sets, how much reps, what should be the interset rest period between the workout. There are many variables in workouts. So we have to see all those variables. But someone who is doing a very basic kind of workout, they can just target with these body weight workouts. You know, each body part they should be targeting. Like you have different body parts in your body, so you should be targeting each body part, and you should be at least anywhere doing 6 to 8 sets of exercise of that body part in that particular day. And then comes your recovery, like how you are recovering with volume. If you are not recovering properly, meaning that you are getting sore all the time for the whole week, you are not getting enough sleep with those by doing all those workouts, definitely you are overdoing those exercises. You have to definitely cut down your volume. You have to cut down the sets if you are doing a lot of sets. So there are certain things which you have to look after. If you are following the workouts and give certain push-up, someone is intermittent, and if he can do easily 100 push-up, but he's just doing 50, that's not effective for that particular. That's just a warm-up for him. But the same thing, if you talk about the beginner, it's totally different. It's very tough for him to do 50 push-ups. He can't even do a normal push-up, one push-up. So they can start with something called a knee push-up or a wall push-up to just build those strength in your chest area and your arms and all. Then
go for that.
Gradually they can progressively overload those exercises, and they can keep on progressing. So that's how it goes. It's totally dependent upon the goals.
There's also another, I think myth or whatever. People say, don't go on these treadmills or something. Better to go on the road and run because treadmills are not good for the knees. What's your say about it?
So it's just a misconception. There's nothing like that. Whether you are running on a treadmill or you are running on a road, it's just a cardio basically, right? So again, if your goal is to become a marathoner, okay, if your goal is something to run, if your goal is just to improve your cardiovascular health, you can do running, okay. But even if your goal is to do a cardiovascular health, you can achieve that particular thing with the resistance training also. You have benefits with the resistance training more than what you get in the cardio. If your goal is not to become a marathoner, it's totally dependent on your goals. Like what's your goal is, and there is no such thing as you can't do running on treadmill or you can't do running on. It's dependent upon your goal. What's your goal is? If your goal is something to become a marathoner, definitely I would suggest my client or someone who becomes a marathoner, I would suggest him to do certain exercise on roads because he has to do that particular thing in the road.
Got it.
Right? Yeah, that's the reason. If someone wants to play tennis, if you'll ask him to play in a particular court which is not supposed to be played, there are different kind of courts also for tennis. So he has to play in the particular court where he has to do that particular session or do that particular workout. Is the same thing is the case with this cardio.
What about Neeraj? Because another myth that was there, hey, if you're doing weights and you're going good and you're doing it like you actually increasing your weights, like, and then you stop. This was something which was told to me a lot of people. Bhai, weight kar raha hai na, rukna mat, because agar rokoge na, so the muscles become loose and you will have this problem, that problem. What's your say about it? Like, you cannot stop if you're doing a weight training. You have to continue doing a weight training and you cannot have any stop in it. What's your take about that?
First, I would ask you that why you are going to stop doing a weight training.
Basically, some reason.
Basically the mindset is something like you do certain things. Like whenever you start a diet, you think that this is something a quick fix. You have to do it for 3 months and 6 months, and then you have to stop. Same is the case they think that they are doing this weight training or any kind of workout just to achieve those goals what they are having in their mind. As I have told you, this is not something which is for a certain period of time. This you have to see as a lifestyle change, and which you have to incorporate in your routine. You have to follow this as a lifestyle. Diet, as I told you, it doesn't mean something which make you suffer. It should make you healthier version of yourself. And that can only be achieved if you make it, if you keep a mindset and if you can adhere that diet which you are following. It should be a sustainable kind of diet which you can do lifelong, first of all. And workouts also you should see as doing it as a necessity. It's not something as a hobby or not something as to achieve your goals, certain goals. You should see this workouts as a necessity of your life, especially of these days. In pandemic, you have seen a lot of people got aware about health and fitness now. Everybody wants to boost their immunity and something like that. They are looking for a quick fix, like if I get some immunity boosters or something. There are different Ayurvedic herbs also. They start taking that because to boost the immunity. But you have to understand this, Neeraj, but you have to change your lifestyle if you want to keep yourself fit for lifelong. You have to keep doing these things in a daily routine as a necessity, not just a hobby.
Got it. I think makes sense.
And going to your question, actually, like why do people say like if you stop doing weight training, basically when you start doing a weight training, you start getting a muscles. Okay, you start feeling more hungry when you train weight training. You start feeling more hungry. Your body, your muscle needs more of protein, more of, nutrients basically. So you get more hungry. Your hunger gets improved. Your food gets improved. Basically, when you were taking before certain calories, your calories also go up. Now, when you stop doing the weight training, what happens is your food intake is there only. Your calories are similar. You have cut down the calories out. You're not doing any kind of workout. Your muscles and your body. Sorry, I got a call.
Okay.
Your muscle and your body doesn't get that, proper nutrition now. So you start putting on weight because you are overeating what you were eating before, and you are not doing that much activity. So that's one of the reasons why people, get put weight. And you're saying like you're talking about something called loose skin, right? You're saying about fat.
The skin becomes loose. Yeah.
The problem with the loose skin comes not with the weight training. You have to understand. This is a very good question. Basically, when you lose your weight very fast with any kind of absurd diet or a fat diet, it means by cutting your calorie very low, going on a very low calorie or a hypocaloric diet. Then you see your muscles get loose. Another case is when you do a lot of cardio and you lose weight. That's the another case. You get that problem of loose skin. You never get the problem of loose skin by doing a weight training, because you build muscles when you do a weight training. And you also lose fat by doing, when you do weight training, you lose fat and you build muscles. But when you do cardio, you can't build muscles. You just lose your fat. But simultaneously, if you are overdoing with the cardio, there are chances that you are going to lose your muscle mass also. It is very easy to put the fat, but it's very tough to build those muscles, which you have worked out for many years and you have done your resistance training. So it's a misconception basically.
Okay. On a lighter note, I think you've talked a lot about the. On a lighter note, how many six packs? How many people have you made sure that they had a six pack? Because when I was talking to you, I said, "What's your goal?" I said, "I want a six pack." So what is the timeline? We've been hearing this six pack a lot. Has anybody come to you, and how much of time did it take, and what kind of regime did he have to make sure that he finally gets a six pack? Because that's a key thing for the men nowadays. Like, let's have a six pack. What do you say? Like, how much time does it take actually build it?
So, Neeraj, first of all, you have to understand that this basically comes with first of all, it's very comes upon our experience. Like, I'm doing weight training for the last, you can say 25, 27 years now. Okay, I was already having a lot of muscle mass in my body. And then I targeted to go on a super lean position. First I competed on 2016. I got down to 4.5 to 5% of the body fat. Your body requires at least 3 to 3.5% of the body fat to survive. And I went down to 4.5 to 5% of the body fat for my first competition.
My God.
Okay, so it totally depends upon your goal, Neeraj. Why do you want to go in that particular position? And being on a very low body fat is also not supposed to be very healthy. If you are doing just for just to showing up, or you want to go for certain beach or something, just want to show up basically, definitely you target that six pack abs. But if just someone wants to be healthy and want to be good body fat percentage, as I told you, they can target anywhere between 10 to 15% or maximum 15-18% of body fat. But if they really don't want to achieve that, it's totally depend upon their training age, their adherence to the diet, how much is their workout experience. There are a lot of things which comes into factor then.
I know.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's not impossible. It's not an impossible job. Anyone can achieve that. When you asked me that you want six pack abs, did you see my reaction? Did I react anything?
No, you said it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Absolutely.
It's very possible. It's just you have to apply proper science in your nutrition and your basically training. You have to apply the science. That's it. You can achieve whatever you want. It's totally dependent upon your goals. You can achieve that six packs also. But with a proper approach, not by doing any kind of absurd diet, cutting down the food, fasting or something like that, which will take a toss of your health.
Nice.
The first thing which we see is the client should not take a toss of the health. Health comes first, then comes your goals.
So true.
So it is something, the diet which we give is something which you can adhere to, which is sustainable. So do anything which you can sustain lifelong. So that's the first thing you have to see.
So there are so many apps, like, free apps. Like every day I get a message, free apps, so excited. Why should we go to Fitter? That for me was like one of my friends recommended, and I met you and I was so impressed with what you have in terms of knowledge. And I said, I think I need to do it. Right. And then I would, but what's your take? Like there are people who are doing it one-to-one training over video. Why Fitter? From your part of view, because I know why Fitter, but you tell me why Fitter.
just one liner answer is fitter is backed with science.
Okay.
So whatever we are doing is backed with research. Everything I'm talking about is, I'm not just talking about randomly. There is research behind everything, every recommendation I'm giving you. It is backed with the research, scientific research. Okay. The first thing is that. Second thing, if you go to fitter, you can see the transformations there. Like whatever we are doing, we are just doing, which can sustain, which can be doable. It is not something which is, which you can do for 3 months or 6 months, you can leave that. It is something which you can achieve, even if after achieving a goal, like as I always say, achieving your goal is very easy. To maintain that goal is tough.
Yeah.
Okay. So it can only be done if you are doing something which is sustainable. It can't be done by doing any kind of absurd or fat diet.
Got it.
Correct. So here comes the quantified nutrition. You won't believe. Like I saw one of our doctor's video. He's a Ayurveda doctor for the past. He's practicing Ayurveda for the past 18 years. He was telling that even in Ayurveda there is one chapter. I don't remember actually the name because it's Sanskrit name something. So there is a chapter, 8th chapter or 6th chapter. It's clearly mentioned. It's totally based upon quantified nutrition. The name of that chapter is quantified nutrition. So even Ayurveda for the past 5,000 years back, they also know what is quantified nutrition. So quantified nutrition is not something new. It's only because we are not aware of this term, or we are not doing this thing, we are not doing things correctly. It has been recommended even by the Ayurveda 5,000 years ago.
So basically, it is not just exercises. Nutrition plays a big role in terms of fitness.
100%.
Like, I was hearing a lot of people, because you may be exercising a lot, but if you're not doing the right kind of nutrition,
yes,
if you're not doing quantified nutrition, it will not be helpful for you. So you definitely would like to have some expert. It could be any kind of expert. Definitely fitter is always there, but it could be an expert who knows about nutrition, who tells you what to do and tells you the right kind of exercises, tells you how to train. That would be the ideal thing to put you back on to put you back on track or back into the lifestyle and have a healthy body and a healthy mind. That's what it is. Again, my last question, you've been talking about so much of health and all. Do you have a cheat day? Do you actually have a cheat day when you say, chalo chhode yaar, ek din ye ice cream kha lete ya ek din ye pastry kha lete ya ek din ye cake kha lete? Do you do that? Because looking at you, I see like, no way. But do you do kind of, sometimes I said, yeah, let's have a cheat day for you. So do you do that, or it's like, no, never?
I had my cheat yesterday only.
Okay, good.
And the fun fact about cheat is, Neeraj, again, the role of quantified nutrition will come if you are having a cheat day. There is no such thing as a cheat day.
Okay.
You can have a planned cheat. It's a planned cheat basically. Your body doesn't know what is cheat. It just knows the calories. Like whatever you are eating, it will convert that food into calories. If you are eating pizza, it will convert that pizza, how much calories that particular pizza has. If you are eating dal chawal, it will convert that into dal chawal. So whatever calories you are eating, it will convert that as a calories in your body and it will respond. If you are above your maintenance, you are going to put on. If you are not eating above your maintenance, if you are just maintaining, you are having a maintenance calorie, you are not going to put on. So what you can do is you can have a planned cheat by doing the quantified nutrition. If your diet allows 2,500 calories, what you can do is you can do an approach of 80-20. You can keep those foods on 80% which is required. Like there is a certain amount of protein which is required. There is a certain amount of fat which is required. People generally what they do, they just cut down the fat. Your body even requires a fat. All the hormones are working because of the fat which you are taking. So you have to have all the macronutrients in a distributed way. Like we are hearing balanced diet since our childhood, but we don't know actually what actually is balanced diet. So you have to balance all these macronutrients, and the remaining 20% what you can do is you can allow yourself for the food which you like. Even you can add ice cream or whatever you want. So you can calculate those calories, whatever food you are eating, and you can adjust those under your calories depending upon your goals.
Got it.
So it is called a planned cheat. There is no such thing as cheat. So I generally do. I eat whatever I want. Like I generally don't eat that kind of foods actually. I don't like actually. I don't have that craving basically. But whenever I have to, I can eat that easily because I know how much calories I'm consuming. So I can easily inculcate those foods in my diet, which I like.
So if I had a cheat day, then the next day I will balance it by doing the necessary.
Your total weekly or whatever like calories you are into, 10 days calorie or weekly calorie where you assess. You can assess those 7 days or 10 days calories, and what you can do is even you can do a 5-2 approach. Like 5 days you can keep a low calorie diet, and 2 days you can keep a high calorie diet.
Makes sense.
So you can cycle your calories basically.
So what's your next international thing that you're planning? What's your goal now, Neeraj? Because I can see you've won a lot of national and international
Yeah, I
achievements
have
with regards
you can
to
see few of my
oh wow,
trophies.
lovely, lovely, very nice.
So
Very nice,
this
very
I
nice.
won this last year only, not even last year, this January basically. And
Hmm.
Goa, there was a competition called ICN. So it's a Australian federation which
Mhm.
came up with this competition. ICN is I compete natural. So
Okay.
one more thing, like whatever we are doing in Fitter is totally natural. Like we don't give any kind of anabolics or something like that. All those banned supplements. We don't believe in all those things, and you even don't require all those things to build a good body. I just want to clarify that to your viewers, that it's totally easy and achievable target you can do even by eating your normal homemade food. Whatever we are giving is a homemade novel. Like you can see your diet, whatever you are eating.
It's
It's
absolutely,
totally
yeah.
what you eat in your daily
Yeah,
routine.
yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
we are just quantifying those things,
So
and we
true.
are just giving you enough protein so that you should not be losing your muscle mass. And it is required in when you are quantified doing a nutrition. All these things are required. We are doing
Got
all
it.
those things. So it's totally natural.
Got
So
it.
I just won that those four trophies in that ICN. It's a natural
Why don't you
competition.
show us? Why don't you show us in front of the camera? We couldn't see it. Like, just pick it up. Like, show it to us. What is it all about?
So this is one of the trophies.
Nice.
It's written. I got in this
Very nice.
second
Good,
place
good.
in that. I have got
Fantastic.
four trophies. I got 4 trophies of that. And this is I did like 2017 is a physique competition again in Mumbai. I did 2017.
Awesome.
I also did
Awesome.
2016, and these are some of the trophies. And I am doing this like I did in 2000 also. Like if I can share you my picture. I did in 2001.
Nice, nice.
I
Good,
was
good.
like Mr. This Mr. State that time.
Good,
So I've
good,
been
good.
doing for the long time basically. But that
Lovely,
time I was
lovely.
not in that scientific approach. Now we are more into, once I have joined Fitter, like being in an advanced coach, I've learned a lot of things, a lot of concepts, science behind how that body works, how you have to achieve your goals.
Good,
Now
good.
I'm helping other people to achieve their goals.
Lovely, yeah. Neeraj, I'm so happy you took out this time. One thing I say, I don't know about others, but definitely for me, this has been a transformation, and I am in the journey. I'm so happy. And the good thing is, you're there. That's where anytime I have it, you're there in terms of responding to my queries, guiding me through. So I'm pretty happy. I'm looking forward to 70 kgs and being fit. Like, I'm doing the exercise. I'm not doing some very big, major exercise, but I'm doing a basic exercise every day. And you're so good that, pushing me every day. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for the time. I think we already 5 o'clock and I have, you're also busy. I'm also busy. So definitely I would like to talk to you again, right? I think this is a good start to our discussion about fitness, mental health, body, nutrition. So this is really good information for all my viewers. So
Thank you.
so I'm sure that there would be more questions coming up. So I look forward to have another session with those questions in mind, so that you can inform them and help them in the transformation journey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Neeraj.
Thank you for being me
All
on your
the best
channel.
for your next competition. We wish you all the luck for winning it up. Yeah.
Thank you.
You take care, Neeraj. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.